Welcome back. The United States Agency for International Development, USAID, is advocating judicious use of available health financing options in the face of dwindling global funding for the health sector in Nigeria. A representative of the American agency said this at a forum on healthcare financing for state commissioners of health and their legislators in Abuja.
The Global Vaccine Alliance, Gavi, is said to have provided much funding for the Nigeria's health sector in the last 1 decade. Gavi's plan to stop the funding this year raises serious concern about how the government will make up for the funding gaps that its exit and that of other donor partners will create. This forum is organized by the United States Agency for International Development to discuss with health commissioners and legislators on how to fill the funding gap that the exit of donor partners will create.
I think one of the challenges the government has had in both a national and state level is to appropriately use existing funding. And I think that's why we're here this week, because existing funding can be used in a way that can go a long way if it's appropriate. And that's why, again, that's why we're here this week.
However, some participants in the forum advocate the need for a strong legal framework that will ensure universal health coverage and healthcare financing.
We have key role to play to ensure that we come up with legal framework that can put in place a process of improving healthcare financing.
Part of the policy direction in Nigeria today is that the states should have their state-supported health insurance scheme. But for you to achieve that, you need to put in place a structure. So we are supporting the states on how best to put in place the structure for health insurance.
Meanwhile, a representative of the State Commissioners for Health emphasizes the need to implement the Abuja Declaration of 2001 to improve financing for the health sector.
The 15% Abuja Declaration will go a long way if the federal government implements it and all the state governments across board.
Nigeria's annual appropriation for health fluctuates between 5.4% and 4.6% of the total budget for the country since 2011. The government is, however, planning to scale this up to 6% as it earmarks 51 billion naira for the health sector in the 2017 budget, currently before the National Assembly.
And staying with health matters, when last did you have a headache? How long did it last and what triggered it? These are some of the factors a doctor considers in order to know whether a headache is something or nothing to worry about. Let's join our correspondent Yomi Otagwe as she takes us through some of the things we need to know about headaches on our Focus on Health.
Individuals going about their daily activities. The effect of this hustle and bustle can sometimes manifest in a headache, which is among the most common disorders of the nervous system. The World Health Organization estimates that globally, half to 3/4 of adults aged 18 to 65 years have had a headache at least once within the last year. And of this number, 30% or more have reported migraine, tension-type headache and cluster headache. These may be triggered by chemical activities in the brain, certain foods, changes in sleep or lack of sleep, poor posture, skipped meals and stress.
Tension-type headache usually follows a stressful day. It usually occurs in the evening. It's usually classically like a heavy weight on the head that goes down the neck. So if somebody has tension-type headache, sometimes just mere rest can take care of the situation. But if that doesn't happen, then there's no harm in taking 1 or 2 over-the-counter medications if the person does not have any contraindications to taking such medication. Migraine headache are those kind of headaches that are usually, but not always, on one side of the head. You know, they are throbbing, like pulsating in nature. They make the person want to just stay still, avoid light, avoid noise, and they feel like vomiting. Sometimes when you use the normal analgesic, it might not work. So in the management of migraine headache, when somebody has very severe migraine headache, it is important that the person gets to the hospital for proper evaluation.
While over 80% of all headaches are considered common and not dangerous, some headaches induced by infection of the fluid surrounding the brain and spinal cord, tumor in the head, or bleeding in the brain may be life-threatening.
If somebody develops sudden severe headaches, sudden severe thunderclap headache, what I mean by thunderclap headache is that the headache starts within 1 minute, it has reached the peak. If somebody develops that kind of headache, then the person must get to the hospital as fast as possible. If somebody has an outpouching of a vessel and then it has ruptured or is about to rupture, sometimes it causes those kind of headaches. If somebody is having headaches before, normally, and the headache changes in pattern, in terms of frequency and severity, then the person should also go to the hospital. If somebody has headache and then he has blurry vision, these are things that should drive somebody to the hospital. You have not been a non-headache disorder patient, normally you don't have a headache, and suddenly you develop headaches that you cannot bear, then you should go to the hospital. These are potential red flags.
The fact that most headaches are not life-threatening and may be taken care of by over-the-counter medication does not mean that you have to always reach out for painkillers to deal with it. Medical experts say suppressing constant or recurring headache could mean hiding a more serious medical condition. Yomi Otaigbe reporting for Channels Television News.
Delta State over the oil spill that occurred in that area. Members of the community have dumped the body of a young man found in the river at the gate of the oil company alleged to have caused the oil spillage. The youth claimed the soldiers stationed at the oil company knocked the man into the river when the youth approached the company to ask questions.
Taking my bath on the water side here, I saw some crude flowing from that company down to this place. So I called the manager to ask him why is the crude flowing on the water. He said I should hold on, he's going to get back to me. When I got to the office this morning to meet with them, one of the Indians came out this morning, started shouting at me that he's going to use the JTF for me, I should leave his office. I came outside with my some of my brothers. We came outside to stand with them, but I told them because normally if crude pour in the water, the full community, the entire community goes to the gate to ask them why. But this time around, I asked them to pause. I asked them to pause that I want to go and find out why it happened like that. So later on, they stopped every operation. The Indian asked them to go on because they used the JTF to intimidate us most time. The JTF to intimidate us. So when we came here, one of the Indians came and was talking to us. The convoy moved. We asked them, you people came for settlement to talk with us. Why are you asking the convoy to move? The next thing, some of our boys was around the water side. The gunboat, they now asked the gunboat to press on them. They matched the boat on one of our boys' chest. During that process, we started looking for him. Up till now, we have not seen him. Since around 12 till now, we have not seen him. We are still searching for him.
Well, slightly disturbing. We'll continue to keep an eye on that particular story. Well, now let's go over to Anne Nwaldo, who's standing by with the latest in business.
Thanks a lot, Millicent. Welcome to Business News. Security operatives in the country have assured of their support for the organized private sector in order to secure their businesses in volatile areas against attacks. The commitment was made at a forum organized by the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry. At that meeting, the military listed some of its needs to ensure national security.
The country has been grappling with security issues bordering on terrorism, religious and ethnic crisis, attacks on oil installation, kidnapping, armed robbery, attacks by herdsmen. The impact of these security challenges on business is phenomenal. Not much investment activities are taking place in the northeastern part of the country.
I wish to profile some measures that I prefer as a way forward for improving the security of businesses as well as for the growth of our national economy. The measures will closely mirror the address of our identified challenges. They include building civil trust and public support, eliminating interagency rivalry, improvement of our legal processes, as well as massive investment in acquisition and capacities of technologies to support the reduction of insecurity.
As part of plans to meet the requirements for minimum operating standards, brokers and dealing members of the Nigerian Stock Exchange may be looking to modify their operating technology. This is because a new brokerage management team has been introduced to the broker-dealer community. According to the operators, the new system has to be adopted to complement the X-Gen, which is the trading machine of the Nigerian Stock Exchange.
It's a cloud-enabled service that can be subscribed by the brokers immediately used as a broker back office and order management system. So it's not just limited to the functionality of these two functions. It includes the pre-trade risk management and real-time financial markets orders routing network. So which means the brokers can leverage the technology which is published over the cloud for transacting across the region, not just limited to one exchange.
You know, like everything new, I think the practical thing to do is to start with the basic. When you get a hang of it and you begin to, because at the end of the day, whatever you're going to pay is subscription, and that subscription is supposed to be covered by the business you have done. And so the most realistic thing to do is start on the basic. And like has also been explained, you can also look at the other bouquets, if I use that word, and pick and choose whether there are any items that you want to take, and they can configure like they have explained. But fundamentally, I think anybody who is going for this will start with the basic.
The successful issuance of Nigeria's first Eurobond in 4 years, the central bank's daily intervention with the sale of $1.5 million, as well as an uptick in forex reserves to $28.70 billion, did not lift the naira at the forex market. The local currency hit a fresh low of 506 naira to the dollar, but on the official interbank market, lenders had traded only $1.3 million at 315 per dollar as the central bank continued to ration dollar supplies. While traders expect the naira to remain stable at the interbank segment next week, they also believe the downside in the parallel market may continue. And that ends Business News Tonight. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Anne Nwaodo. Back to you, Millicent.
Many thanks, Anne. Next on the news at 10. Kenya's Abraham Kiptum retains Lagos City Marathon title and goes home with a cash prize of $50,000. That's on Sports News. Stay with us.